out in Indiana, the governor out there, he decided to turn up the heat on anybody who is gay by proposing a bill and then signing that bill to have businesses there be able to discriminate against homosexuals. And just to give you an idea on how fucking two-faced this guy is, he made an amendment to the bill saying that, the bill, it needs to be fixed. And then he would go on to conservative radio and whatever. Then he would say the complete opposite, say, oh, no, this is a good bill. The bill is just fine. We don't need to change it. And then it was either yesterday or today. No, I think it was yesterday. Yesterday, as the day of this broadcast, we do this on Friday nights at 9 p.m. Central Time on vonlive.tv/Packard Pokes At. He did this on Thursday with very little fanfare. In fact, there was no fanfare. He did it behind closed doors, no cameras. I don't even think they didn't even allow his dead grandmother's ashes to be in the same room while he was doing this. He changed the bill. They had the bill amended so it was less offensive, as it were. And the reason why is because they were basically telling, if you had a business and someone was gay, you could say, you know what, because you're gay, I don't want to do business with you. I'm not going to sell you my goods, which is kind of fucking stupid. You're in the business to do business. You're out there and you hang out your shingle for cake, cookies, suits, anything. If you sell to the general public, you should sell to everybody, not just because of what they do behind closed doors. It's none of your goddamn business. Connie, your thoughts?
Well, this is all blowing up because way back when Clinton was president, they put a bill into effect, a law that was called the Religious Freedom Restoration Act. And primarily this dealt with Native American rights to practice their religion. And the problem with Native Americans was they have sites that they consider to be holy.
Right.
And to be able to practice their religion, they needed those sites protected. And for some reason, Indian laws, like, this wouldn't happen. We're not fully protecting their lands.
Right.
And the other thing was sometimes they use peyote in their holy rites, and so
that'd be marijuana for you and me and everybody else.
Well, actually,
peyote is not marijuana.
I'm just kidding.
It's a cactus. Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
It makes you trip balls.
Yeah.
First hand experience, Joe?
Hell yeah.
Okay. You can tell me about it later.
And what gets me is that some very, very clever religious lawyers and leaders have decided that this is a really good way to protect their right to be bigoted. And they keep saying, well, we're not being bigoted, but we just have an objection to providing services for, LGBT weddings. And trying to say it's different than, black segregation and those laws.
Yeah.
Because, and therein is the flaw in what they're saying. Because what they're actually saying is that, well, black people are born black, but nobody's born gay. They think that gay is a choice. I'm just laying this out there. This is what central problem is. They will refuse to acknowledge the idea that, gender and sexual orientation are not cut and dry. It's not black and white.
Right.
Even if you have the right, it doesn't mean that that's how you identify.
Right.
It cannot help because there are people who are bisexual, and I know as a Christian they were saying, well, they're just confused.
Yeah.
That was what they thought. Well, they just can't decide which they want, and so it's so frustrating. There was this pizzeria in Indiana this last week who, unfortunately, now they've got like $200,000 or $200 million have been raised for them.
$200,000.
But they were attacked basically because
on Yelp.
They were just
attacked. They were just attacked on Yelp, and they lost. And they asked for like $25,000. And they got like $500,000 or something like that.
But it's the father of the daughter who's running the place who has said, well, I chose to be heterosexual. They chose to be this, and it's just such ignorance.
Those people who say that they chose to be heterosexual, I'd like to say, or whatever, I'd like to say, okay, prove it. Show me how that you chose to be that way.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I heard this a while back, and I thought it was kind of interesting thought. What if our default position for our sexuality is not one or the other? It's actually bisexual. Because we're basically human beings. We're basically cut from the same cloth, as it were. This DNA wise, because when every person that's ever come out starts out female, and then you either become male or female. So what if, like I said, what if the gender that it's supposed to be gender neutral? Because if you're just one thing or the other, but physically, but not biologically inside your brain, that maybe we're supposed to be able to do both. What if that's the default position? I apologize. I'm feeling under the weather, so I'm going to be babbling randomly. Joe, do you have any thoughts on this?
I'm sorry. I forgot I'm still so used to waiting for you to say, Joe, your thoughts. Like, I seriously was waiting for that. But,
okay.
But yeah, I do have some thoughts on this. This has been in the news a lot lately. It's a big issue. I think it's impressive that so many large companies have come out to tell Indiana, hey, you need to change what the fuck you're doing because this isn't cool. And they're doing that on their own without customer pressure. They're just doing that, like big tech companies.
Right.
There's a
Walmart.
There was some. Well, that's down in Arkansas. Arkansas was considering a similar bill, and Walmart. Like all liberals love Walmart.
Yeah, we love us our Walmart.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a place where I go buy my walls. Oh no.
Walmart is headquartered in Arkansas, and Arkansas was considering a law similar to this, and Walmart actually said to them, like, hey, listen, that's not cool. Like, we don't need to go down the road of Indiana here. And now Arkansas and Indiana are both reconsidering the harsh language of their laws and looking to reword them.
Yeah. And when just a side note on that, Joe, as soon as the governor in Indiana changed, the laws, or redid the laws there.
Did he sign it?
As far as I know, he did sign that. We just did talk about that.
Connie, did you sign it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so did Arkansas.
Woo-hoo!
Yeah, and so did Arkansas. I mean, literally at the same time because
Arkansas did first.
Oh yeah, was it first? Because I thought, as I remember hearing it, I thought maybe Arkansas was like watching Indiana what they were going to do, and they said, okay, oh well, they're going to redo the bill. Oh well, and we better do the same, So
well, there might be a time.
This is a great example of public pressure working for the cause of good.
Yes.
I mean, the whole Chick-fil-A boycott thing, we lost that one.
Yeah.
We were fucked over on that one. Like, everybody was like, oh, Chick-fil-A, a bunch of assholes, and like people lined up and like, we need to support Chick-fil-A and their bigotry. And we completely lost that one. But this one, we seem to be winning.
Yeah.
We're actually like, woohoo, yay.
Hey, you know what's funny about that, Joe? The way I like the way you put that is that many of the Christians out there that are on the side of the wrong side of history on this, they are saying that they're being persecuted because we're using public opinion, and and these businesses are basically stepping out on their own to say, hey, this is wrong, you shouldn't be doing this. So they're think they're being persecuted.
Mm-hmm.
But turn it around, if somebody
kettle black.
Yeah, exactly. Turn it around, and they have no problem boycotting something that they don't like for whatever reason, and they feel perfectly justified in that. It's like, oh well, we're doing it because of our religion. It's like, so what? We're doing it out of sight of what's decent human beings should be like. Anyway,
right?
Yeah. Well, that's a big story. It's an ongoing story.
Well, and there are other states that are considering legislation like this. Texas is one that even has probably even a broader scope that they want to be able to allow religion to do it. But we'll just have to see whether they move forward with them after what's happened in Indiana and Arkansas, I suppose.
Right. Yeah. The one thing I did like about this is the fact is that several other states like New York and I think Washington State said all travel and that government wise and dealing with the states is cut off immediately, and we are going to review. We're going to review
the city of San Francisco, the state of Connecticut. Yeah. a lot of states and municipalities stepped up and said no publicly funded transportation to those states that have those kind of laws on them. So so it's businesses reacting, and it's also local governments reacting.
Yes, that's good too. I mean,
even NASCAR.
Yeah.
I was
really
surprised.
NASCAR?
Yeah, NASCAR.
Yes.
Yeah, NASCAR.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, obviously,
so Walmart and NASCAR was like, no.
I know.
And Indiana is
it's
Indiana.
the Twilight Zone.
I know it's in Indiana. The NASCAR is Indiana. You know, the Indianapolis 500.
God. Yeah, I was that just floored
We're gonna
me.
take our track and we're gonna go somewhere else. We're now gonna be the
Kentucky
Arkansas
500 next to the Creation Museum.
Yeah, we're gonna be the California 500 from now on. You know, and I love the memes that came out. And there's this picture of Harrison Ford, and it says, "I'm changing my name to California Jones."
Yes, I almost thought Joe made that.
Was that you? Was that yours, Joe?
No, I didn't make that. I made one. I made one of Jesus talking to some children, and I had it say, "Remember to love your neighbors, unless they're gay. Fuck them if they're gay." And I threw that on Twitter. I got a little bit of traction, a few retweets. But I've noticed, like, even my religious friends on Facebook are sharing memes of Jesus saying, like, "Hey, don't discriminate or hate your neighbors." And it says underneath, like, I saw one actually this afternoon, and it said, "Well, what if they're homeless? What if they're gay? What if that?" And then at the bottom it said, "Did I stutter?" and I don't normally like the religious memes that are shared. I like that one. I liked it. I commented on it. I was like, hell yeah.
I'm loving how.
I mean, Jesus did say, "Bring my enemies before me and slay them with a sword," but I'm not going to get into that with you.
You might have met Pat Robertson and Brian Fisher, though.
Yeah.